This is a project I've been putting off for years. I've had this easily a year and a half, but it's just a little bit messy and it's going to take time. But I have some time in my schedule now. We're going to attack this before the seasons change, and we really want to have this nice bench ready to go. So let's go into the details on this project, how I'm going to succeed. And if I posted it, I guess I have succeeded.
There's this old saying that the lesson will continue until the student learns. This is a perfect example of that. I tried to do something new, this Citristrip. Total waste of time. If you had a real thick lacquer on an interior piece of wood, this probably would work well. But for this application, a heavily weathered bench, you had a lot of cracking of the polyurethane coating. You really needed to attack it. I started out with 60 grit and a sander and just went in here and got to a certain level. But it was a combination of the sander and these two scrapers. This scraper is worth its weight in gold. This one's pretty good, a little over 1-inch slats. This was perfect. And then after I got through and scraped a whole good bit, then I went into 240 grit sandpaper. And then I did steel wool. This is fine steel wool to really get it down to a nice smooth finish before I started putting on the coating. I'm trying to remember how long it's been since I treated this. This is one of those things where I would take the swing down in the harsh wintertime along with some Adirondack chairs on the other side of the porch, and I would put them in storage underneath the deck. I have a little storage area that protected them, and that was fine. But then I'm like, I like to swing. If the weather's nice, it's nice to have the swing out all year round. And so it stayed all year round. But it just got getting worse and worse, and then it got kind of sharp with some of the edges drying out. What you see here, and I'm not counting the time on this citrus seal, which was probably about 5-6 hours wasted. Right here is the transition to what I applied with Citristrip. Can you see a difference there? Maybe a little bit, but not like the scraping and sanding piece. Using these tools that I've gone over, how quick it is to clean up an area of vise using that citrus stripper. I'm just taking this 1-inch scraper, and I've got 60 grit sandpaper. And boom, you're done. From this to this in 30 seconds. This is about 10 to 12 hours worth of work to get it to this level. This is right where the swing is going to be. It's a heavily covered area. I don't live in a saltwater environment. Lots of humidity at certain times of the year. This tree helps shade this area, so it's not a lot of direct sunlight most of the day. Even when it rains and snows, it comes right about here. It mostly misses this swing, but not all the time. The back is sanded down as much as this front is. My strategy going forward, and I'll have this as documentation, is to take a look at it every year annually in the fall before the winter comes in and see if I need to do some sanding and touch up on areas that are exposed. Originally it had kind of a coating, I would almost say an oil on it, but the oil would dry out. I wasn't sure what kind of oil that it had. I got this in 1993 and it's 2025 right now, 32 years ago. And I've got it back to the point of day one when it was shipped to me. So I feel pretty good about it. We're gonna treat this bench with a lot more love and care than we have in the past and keep it in a good place. It's time to take this in the garage and treat this so that it's going to be weather safe for years to come. How many years? I guess that will be a follow-up video. We've applied 2 coats to the bottom of the bench swing, and in between the coats, about 4 hours, used some steel wool, kind of roughed it up a little bit to make sure that the second coat had a good, nice, solid connection. Even though it's a clear, pretty much given a golden oak color to the bench, I wanted to do the bottom first. We'll turn it over, and there you can see we had some leakage here. We'll have to sand that down and scrape it off before we do the top. These drips are exactly why I wanted to do the bottom first. Even though you put it on there nice and thin, you're going to get drips here and there. Multiple thin coats is better than one thick coat, and just take off drops came through on the bottom. And then I'll do the same after I finish the top. I'd rather have drips on the bottom where you can't see them than on the top where they're really obvious. A couple tips I want to pass on. I use 2-liter bottles. I cut the bottom off, and I use those as paint containers or stain containers. I'll put a little bit in at a time. I'd rather fill this up 2 or 3 times than get to the end of the day or end of the painting and have a whole bunch left over that I have to deal with, because I don't want to put it back in the container. It's already had some contamination. I also take my brush and I put it in a Ziploc bag and try to seal it up good, keep it from stiffening or drying out. Always cover the lid on your paint or your stain or whatever it is between coats or between pours. This is not how I would typically do it, but for the camera, I'm going to show you. Put the tip of the brush in there, maybe 1/2 inch. Start at the middle of the project and work out in both directions. And you just want a really light coating. Or I'll use a board up here. It's going to darken the wood. I was thinking about staining the wood a golden oak, but I think it's going to be slightly darker than golden oak when I'm finished. Take your time. Nice thin coats. 2 or 3 coats is all you need to do this project right. I was thinking about how many hours I might have spent on this project. 5 or 6 hours trying to strip the varnish off. That didn't work out. And that set me back because I had a limited time. And then life got in the way and didn't get to it for another year. The sanding and the scraping probably took around 10 hours. The coating with the polyurethane, another 3. So 13 hours plus 5 or 6 hours lost on the other end, so maybe 20 hours, but it's well worth it. I wanted to do it right so that I don't have to do this project again for, ideally, knock on wood, 10 years. A porch swing is just one of those things that makes a house a home. If you have a porch, you've got to have a swing. It adds so much. It could be pouring rain out there, snowing, and just taking a load off and resting on the swing for a little bit just kind of resets the entire day. Thumbs up and comments always appreciated. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in all sorts of home projects, home repairs, making and breaking things, designs of all kinds, I even do costumes, cosplay, and props. Check out my channel and please subscribe, because you never know what swinging project you're gonna see.